What is up, Sports Spectrum fans? Jonathan Isaac here, founder of the really dope Christian footwear and apparel brand called Unite Us. This week, we're partnering with Sports Spectrum. All you have to do is use code SS10 at weareunitus.com and check out for a discount. Thanks so much.
What is up, Sports Spectrum? We are presented today by Unite Us. We're so thankful for their partnership. You guys can check them out at weareunitus.com. And today, I am here with former NFL safety, Super Bowl champion, Fly Eagles Fly, Rodney McLeod. Rodney, thank you for joining me today.
Man, the pleasure is all mine. How you doing?
This is awesome. Well, I'd love to talk about the bling on your finger, but first,
hard to miss.
Hard to miss. But first, just congratulations on an incredible career in the NFL.
Thank you. Long 13 years, put everything I had into it, gave a lot, built a lot of relationships, and just more importantly, the game has allowed me to provide for my family in ways that I could never imagine. And so I'm just extremely blessed and thankful.
That's awesome. Well, I could probably guess who you are rooting for this Super Bowl, but what are your Super Bowl predictions?
Honestly, I'm a little salty because I just came off a season. I wanted to be in the Super Bowl. I had dreams of being in New Orleans in a different capacity than sitting right here next to you. But here we are. I honestly think the Eagles are going to win. I feel confident about their offensive line. Saquon is having an MVP season. I believe Jalen Hurts is going to be the answer, though. Kansas City's not going to let Saquon run all over him. I don't think they have allowed a 100-yard rusher in the playoffs in I don't know how many games. So my money is on the Eagles.
That's good. Well, you got to get in the locker room and give them that pregame speech. I think it would fire them up. But just being here at the Super Bowl, what memories are flooding your brain from your own Super Bowl 52?
Memories that come to mind is preparation, everything that it took to be able to win a Super Bowl. I think about the first time when we landed here, what we did, how we kept it very normal. And we normalized a moment that is not normal. Nothing about it. You're on media day, like tons of distractions. But we had leaders like Malcolm Jenkins and Chris Long reminding us about, hey, treat it like the next game. And I think everybody came in with that mindset. We had our defensive dinners. We prepped the same way that we would, and we went in, we handled business, and we beat arguably the best quarterback in NFL history.
You did, and there's a lot of distractions, right? Like even just the amount of time that you have before the game is crazy, so it's so important to focus on those X's and O's. You're right.
Yeah, very important. I mean, that's where it all starts, and I'm sure the guys are doing everything possible to make sure they walk away as a champion. I mean, there's no tomorrow after Sunday. So you got to pour everything you can into it and let the best man win.
That's good. Well, just going to your team in that locker room, what was the community of faith believers like with that championship team?
Huge. That was the reason why we went as far as we did. Losing Carson Wentz, losing to Jason Peters, losing to Darren Sproles, Jordan Hicks. I mean, we're talking like key players that played a role in us having such great success. And so we had to put our faith in one another, put our faith and trust in a guy like Nick Foles, in a guy like Corey Clement, who was a young rookie but stepped up in a major way for us. And that all stemmed around our belief in Jesus Christ. Those moments that we had as a group on those Saturday nights, fellowshipping, all of it contributed to us just standing locked arms with one another during a very challenging moment. And I think that's where you really have to rely on your belief system in those adverse moments.
Yeah, that's amazing that you had that group of guys around you, right? But what did like the internal dialogue maybe between you and the Lord, or like how are you handling your faith and talking to the Lord through this crazy week leading up to the Super Bowl?
I'm putting all my faith and trust in Him. I gain my strength, my identity, everything that I am is because of Him. And that's what gives me, or that's what gave us great confidence going into that game, is that at the end of it, we're still going to be a son of Christ, and life is going to continue. And so there's so much more that obviously we can be proud of, but just knowing, again, everything that we have going on is because of him, and that's all that matters.
That's cool. And I would love to just check out the Super Bowl ring. So can you describe what is all over it besides all the diamonds? I love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of diamonds in here. We got the Super Bowl, we got the Lombardi, we got world champs, we got my name on the side paired with my jersey numbers. We got the mantra,
Eagles
fly, Eagles
fly.
fly, and we have family.
Love
represented on the other side, because that's exactly what this symbolizes. It really speaks to all of the brothers that were forged throughout this time, and everybody that had a hand on this championship. We're talking front office, we're talking staff members, from the kitchen to training room into the locker room. Everybody was a contributor, and that's what I think about most every time I put it on. It's the memories that lived in that locker room, on the field, and everything else in between.
That's awesome. Well, what a fun week for you to be able to wear that around. I absolutely love it, and now it's very cool for me to see. But I would love to talk about your last NFL game, because you got to be mic'd up for that game. How did you handle being mic'd up for what was probably a really emotional moment for you?
Very emotional. I didn't want any of the attention, to be honest. There were a lot of clips circulating over the course of that week for good reason, but I've always been a team first guy, and so when everybody's acknowledging me about the career I had, I welcomed it, but I also felt that I didn't want to be a distraction from the game. But to your point, being mic'd up was special, just giving me that opportunity to share my voice, share the game from my seat, that game, in a sense you would say, or my lens. It was funny watching it back. But as I ran out that tunnel, everybody asked me, would you cry? Like, what's that last game going to be like for you? And it wasn't until I ran out as a team, I looked up in the stands, and I saw a lot of my close family there. And it reminded me of why I played so long, why I picked up a football at the age of 6, and, who I honestly step on the field for. It's because of my family. They're my why.
That's really cool. I bet there are a lot of lessons that you've learned from football, but what has the Lord taught you? Just kind of reflecting on your career as a whole, what has the Lord taught you, maybe about life or about him, through your NFL career?
He's always by my side. He's never left. And I think it's important for a lot of us to understand that the fact that he died on the cross for our sins, he gave himself up for us. And what better way to repay him than how we live out our lives every single day? And I try to wake up and be that same man every day. I look in the mirror, be proud of myself, knowing I'm not perfect. No one is. But knowing that, again, God, he's a forgiver. It's proven. And so I want people to stay encouraged in your journey as you continue to navigate throughout life, knowing that, man, no day is going to be the same. No day is perfect. But with Christ, all things are possible. And keep being a believer, keep chasing God, keep pursuing God.
That's good. And he doesn't change whether you're playing, you're not playing. So I would love to just ask you about your next steps. I know you're serving in your community with Change Our Future. Could you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's a youth development organization that my wife and I started back in 2020. We're really on pathway of creating the next generation of leaders through mentorship, leadership, and educational programming, being able to provide opportunity, resource, and access to a lot of students of color that unfortunately aren't deserving or aren't afforded those same opportunities because, unfortunately, of their neighborhoods, of their environments, whatever it might be. And so we found a way to be able to become that bridge for our students through leveraging my platform, the resources I have to be able to pour into them and create a better tomorrow for them.
That's awesome. Well, we're cheering you on in your next steps and with that, and have an amazing time at the Super Bowl, and go Eagles.
Thank you so much.